Okay, so what are we going to do today?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Today we're going to do some focaccia.
I wonder what we were going to say then.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's the right pronunciation, but guess what? We're going to be doing it on a barbecue, which we're going to be turning into an oven. But it's another one of those things that you can do just as people turn up to your barbecue or your party. Give out some focaccia, stick it on the table. It's a sharing food. It's just one of those lovely comfort yumminesses. So I'm just going to show you really how to make it first before we pop it onto that barbecue. This is a BBC recipe. It's a Paul Hollingworth. It's meant to be very simple. I've never done it before, so don't think that I've rehearsed this, because I haven't. And what have we got?
Anything could happen.
I've got a bowl here, and in that bowl I have 500 grams of strong white flour. I've got 2 teaspoonfuls of salt and 1 sachet of this.
Question.
Yes?
Did you use rock salt or did you use powdered
Normal salt, you know, normal granulated salt.
So you didn't rock salt it?
I didn't rock salt it.
No, right,
okay. And one of these little sachets, which is 7 grams of dried, easy, sort of make it quick type yeast.
Oh, yeast. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeast, of course it is. Yeah, okay. And then what do we know? I've got some extra virgin olive oil here. So 2 teaspoonfuls. Two teaspoonfuls.
That's not
of
a teaspoon.
Sorry, 2 tablespoons.
I guess that's a bloody big teaspoon.
It's like me left and me right. I get teaspoons and tablespoons mixed up. So that was 2 teaspoonfuls of salt and 2 tablespoons.
I was going to say it's a hell of a lot of salt. I must admit.
Of olive oil.
I think that's why I asked the question. I
absolutely.
thought, crikey.
And then in this jug I've got 400 grams. No, I haven't. I've got 400 millilitres of water, and I'm going to tip about 300 of that into that mixture.
I'm ever so glad, you know, you've actually done some things. This is the man who usually says a bit of this, a bit of that,
of this and a
bit
bit of
the
that.
other.
I usually just splosh it. So everything there is in that bowl. And what I'm going to do now is just blend that. And
Don't we use spoons then?
no, not using spoons. The actual recipe says use your hand.
Oh.
So I'm going to use my hand.
Oh.
So it's just got to all come together as a dough.
Come together right now.
Okay. And it doesn't matter how much you work it or touch it.
Work it, baby, work it, work
all needs kneading.
Kneading.
Okay. So just do that. Get all that together. And just before that comes together,
Come
you need
together.
to add that last 100 ml of water just in there. And bring all that in, okay? And that's going to be a bit sloppy in there now.
Reminds me of when the kids play with stuff in the garden.
Play-doh.
Yeah.
Although it's not Play-doh, it's Focaccia dough.
Focaccia.
Focaccia dough. So there you go. So what we're meant
It's rather wet, isn't it?
It is, so gosh, I really hope this is going to work. But that's what the recipe said.
Oh.
It is a bit wet, but it's all meant to
You're
come...
trusting it, are you?
I'm trusting that
You're not
recipe.
gonna, usually you stick a bit more something in, because your senses would tell you that it needs more flour.
I'm trusting Paul Hollingworth.
Oh.
So,
All right then, Paul.
and the whole idea is you just do this.
Actually, it does look a bit elasticy, doesn't it?
Yeah, for about 5 minutes. Let's just hope that 400 ml of water.
Wasn't meant to be 4 mil or something
Wasn't meant
ridiculous.
to be. No, it was definitely 400 ml of water. Okay, so it's actually coming together a bit like a dough, and it's just apparently just a case of working that dough, making sure you knead it.
I suppose you do need it if you want to make the bread, really.
What, you need the dough?
Yeah. You exhausted yet?
Yeah. Are you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just exhausted watching you.
So there you go.
You've got to go for about 5 minutes. Shall I put this in pause until you finish?
Yeah, put it on pause and then come back in about a few
I
minutes.
was going to say, 'cause my hand's aching. Actually.
Okay, yeah, put it in pause and we'll come back when we do the next stage.
I appreciate your hand must be aching.
No, I've got to carry on doing this for all
5
the
minutes.
time.
All right, then.
It's okay.
And here we are.
Here we are. Right, that's about 5 minutes. As you can see, it's still a bit tacky, but it's coming together nicely.
Coming together.
And it's just a case of making sure that it's just stretched and it's all mixed in. Just turning that inside out, turning it around. As you can see, just stretching it round so it's still very tacky. So, been playing with that now for about 10 minutes.
Playing with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I suppose you have actually.
Yeah.
It's longer than 5.
So it's just a case now of tipping that out onto the work turfies.
Onto the work turfies. You have a work turfies.
And just giving it a little bit more of a...
People put things on, like flour on
No,
work
you shouldn't put
surfaces.
flour on
No?
this one. If it gets a bit tacky, they suggest you just put a bit of olive oil on. But just give that a good old pounding. As you can see, it's just good old pounding. Work that
Work it, 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 work it.
Water, all that yeast in there. Just give it a good pounding. And once you've done that,
Haven't you got to put it in an airing cupboard for half an hour or something?
well, we haven't got an airing cupboard.
But aren't you
the whole
supposed to?
idea of using that yeast in that packet, it's a quick yeast. It's almost a cheat.
Oh.
It proves 2 or 3 times quicker than a
So it's not
normal
like,
yeast.
I was going to say, it's not normal yeast and you have to use a quick yeast.
Yeah, that was a quick yeast.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough.
And the recipe does say use a quick yeast.
Oh, okay.
And also, if you use a quick yeast, it means
Excuse me, I did turn away.
it actually gets done quicker.
Cool.
So there you go. That's had a good kneading. You can see it's still a bit tacky.
Focaccia is really needy, isn't it?
It is. A bit like somebody else I know. Chuck it in a bowl.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
Get a damp tea towel.
Oh,
Just lay it over the top. And what you're doing now...
it's a Land's End one, look.
Yeah. Look at that. And we're waiting for it to double in size.
Oh.
Now, it's quite warm weather, so I think that's okay. But we'll leave that and we'll come back to you once it's doubled in size.
Ask a question. Yeah. Why a damp tea towel? Does that
Just keeps the air in there a bit moist.
Oh, right, okay, just checking.
Yeah, it's just...
You can't cover it with cling film or tin foil or...
No, you just a damp tea towel's fine.
Oh, is that what the recipe says or is that what you say?
That's what I say.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
Does it have to be a Land's End one?
No. So, we'll come back to you when that's doubled in size.
Okay.
How long that will be, I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on that clock and we'll tell you how long it took. Okay, so here we are, 40 minutes later. Now you need to tell me if it's got twice as big.
Okay, go on.
Is that twice as big as it was?
Oh, yeah, actually, it's big, yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Okay.
6
brilliant.
inches, isn't it, or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that in half. I'm going to put half in that tray and half in that tray. Push it into the edges and then we're going to leave it for an hour.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're 40 minutes into it at the moment. We did a bit of kneading and a bit of doobly what's it before that. So I think this whole process is going to be 2 hours before we get it onto the barbie. So if you have got a family party or
It's preparation.
friends, so this is the sort of thing to prep a couple of hours before people come round.
Okay.
But I think the whole idea of this is to have this on the barbecue when everybody comes round, so you can take it off and dish it out, and it's one of those sharing and tearing or types of things. I'm just going to get a knife. Stay where you are.
Yes, sharing is tearing, apparently.
Okay, so I can just run the knife through this and cut it in half.
Oh, run your knife
Like
through
that.
there. Yeah.
Take half of that. And then I'm going to pop that into that tray. All I've done with that tray is I've just put some greaseproof paper in there. I'll put some oil round the paper, underneath the paper so it doesn't stick, not on the top. And then I'm just pushing all that.
Hang on, so you put the oil underneath the
I put
paper?
the oil
yeah.
on the tin and then put the paper in.
Oh, right, so you don't put the oil on
I
top of
haven't put the oil on top of the paper, no.
Oh, right.
Okay. So I'll just push that one in there like that.
I never know what to oil when.
I'll take the second piece, pop that in there. Again, just push that out. And what we're going to do then is leave this just to prove.
Just to prove what?
To prove that it can get bigger again.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
Have we got to put damp towels on it again?
No, I'm putting this now into plastic bags.
Oh.
Okay. And the whole idea is to try and put it in a plastic bag so the bag doesn't touch the dough.
Right.
So that grease proof should keep that off there.
Right.
So we're going to do that.
That's what the plastic bags for. I'm asking what these plastic bags are for ages, but I didn't know what they were.
So I've got 2 clean plastic bags.
Cleanish.
Cleanish. I'm going to pop that one inside there
Yeah.
and just leave that on the side.
Okay.
Take the other one.
I like the way you've used Morrison and Tesco just to
Well,
be
yeah, you can't be,
No.
you know, got to show bidding on both. Leave those on the side
Just like
for 1 hour,
that.
and then after an hour, we're going to fire up the barbecue. Then we're going to come back and we're going to put some olives in one, and we're going to put some cherry tomatoes and some rosemary in the other. Sprinkle a little bit of rock salt over the top, drizzle over some more olive oil, then cook them for about 20 minutes, and we should have some really lovely focaccia ready to eat.
Okay.
So we'll come back to you in 1 hour's time.
Excellent.
Okay, right, so here we are at the Cadac Entertainer, and we're going to just strike it up just before that we get to that last stage with the focaccia that's proving. Shush, thank you. Right, okay, so here we are. We've got the barbecue ready. I've got the barbecue mats on here. We're going to use these pots again to stand the focaccia on top, so it keeps those trays off the grill, and it makes sure that it actually stops it from burning. But we'll pop those on again later. It's like a game, isn't it? You sort of move the pot. No? Okay, right. So we're going to strike up.
So was I meant to say something there?
No, don't bother.
Oh, okay.
We're going to strike up using the 2 middle ones only. Okay, so let's just turn them on. That's 1, 2. So both the middle ones burners are on. They're on full blast. We're going to bring that lid down, and we're trying to get that up to 200 to 220 degrees. Okay, once we've hit that and we're on that marker for the hour for the focaccia that is proving that it's getting bigger, then we'll come back and we'll start baking. So back with you again in just a few minutes. Okay, right, here we are, 1 hour after we popped into these bags. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish off the focaccia, and again I apologise if that is not the right way you pronounce it. Then we're going to take them out, pop them onto the barbecue, and hopefully have some really, really nice things. So let's take one out of the bag. Look at that.
Oh, didn't it get a bit big?
That has really, really got nice and big. Let's take the other one out.
You're really excited, aren't you? It's great.
I really am. And there's the second one. So they've really worked well. Now, this recipe, which I gave you earlier, is basically to go into one long tin, but I've split it up into 2 smaller tins because I'm going to do 2 different variations of it.
I like that, because you don't like olives. Oh, and you don't like tomatoes either, but never mind.
Okay, I can deal with the tomatoes. So one I'm going to put tomatoes and rosemary, and the other one I'm going to put olives that have been sort of soaked in sort of like sun-blushed tomatoes. And all we need to do is, first of all, let's go for the tomato ones. Get the tomatoes. I've got half a cherry tomato, and all I'm going to do is just stick them into that dough. That's all you need to do. And on this particular size pan, I'm actually going to stick 16 in there, just like that.
Almost sexy.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know why, but it just feels it.
What, me or the tomatoes?
Yeah, just sort of like the... I don't know.
I'll take some dough and some cherry tomatoes to bed with me later. Right, there we go. And then I'm going to take a bit
Oh.
of rosemary and just slide those into the hole as well, just to add that flavour, that Mediterranean.
I wasn't expecting you to. I was expecting you to sprinkle it.
No, I want to pop it in the hole so it goes, that fuses in with those tomatoes. Okay, a little bit in there.
It's very pretty.
It is. Well, it's that Mediterranean look, isn't it? It's that and the smell. You know, those cherry tomatoes were fresh from Tesco's.
Mediterranean, wouldn't that be basil?
Yeah, that's Mediterranean as well, right? It's just
Could you put basil in it?
that look, isn't it? And then what do? So to finish that off, we just take some olive oil, drizzle that over the top, like that. Yeah. Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. Take some fresh sea salt and give it a good over the top like that. That is one focaccia.
Right. I'll hoover up the bits of salt on the floor later,
Exactly.
shall I?
And the other one, I'm just going to take these olives again, stick them in the middle. These have been soaked in like a smoky, sun-dried tomatoes. So you've got a bit of flavour in there. And if you can get some of those tomatoes in there as well. But all I got these came off the deli counter in Tesco's. They got some seasoning in there as well.
Actually, they're lovely. I was hoping you weren't going to use all of those.
I don't think I am.
Good.
Pop those in there.
That's the right answer.
Now, I'm not an olive fan, as you know. She's never upset me, but... and again, all we're going to do, just to finish that off, is take a drizzle.
The amount of tea towels I have to shove us straight in the wash after you finish with your cooking.
Drizzle that olive oil over the top, like that. Take some more of that sea salt.
No rosemary on that one then.
No rosemary on this one. We're trying to do two completely different flavours. Both Mediterranean, one with the olives, one with the tomato and the rosemary.
Look pretty.
And we'll join you outside next to the Cadac. Okay, so here we are at the Cadac. Just over 200. We're about 220, 225. Open that lid, stand back, you feel that heat. Let's quickly get some pots on there that we can use as stands. And then we're going to stick the one focaccia, stick it on there. And the other one, stick it on there. Okay, bring that lid down again. So that is now acting as a really cool, well not cool, but a really hot oven. Temperatures at just under 200. Ouch, that's hot. I always do that. We want that temperature to rise up to 200, 220 again. And then we'll leave that in there for the next 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and just take a look to see how it's going. So catch you again in 15 minutes time. Okay, so here we are, 15 minutes later. That temperature is nicely where we want it. Let's lift the lid and have a look where the focaccia is. You stand there and chat while I get a tea towel, because we might need it.
Who am I chatting to, the focaccia or the people?
Anybody.
Oh, hello everybody. How are you?
Right, okay, I'm back.
Is that enough? Oh,
That's fine.
okay.
Right, so I'm going to pull the lid up, so stand back. Let's have a look. Look at that. That is doing a treat.
Oh, it is actually.
So it's not quite brown. I'm just going to turn it just around like that. Make sure that's back on there. Pick that up. Just turn that. It's just starting to brown.
Oh, you can see that.
It's starting to go nice and crisp on top. So I'm going to bring the lid down. And we're going to give it another 10 minutes. And I think we should be there.
Really?
So yeah, back in 10 minutes time. Okay, how many minutes later?
I don't know.
No, 5 or 10 minutes later. I can't remember. Right, so here we are. It's still sitting there just between the 200 and the 250. So lid up. Whoa, there we go. And let's have a look at that focaccia. I'm just going to bring that.
It's not ready yet, though, is it?
I think it is. It's very hot.
Yeah.
Seems to be well cooked on there.
Sure.
Can we just stick a skewery thing in there?
Ah, screwy things are always good.
Doesn't seem to be.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Is it? Cool.
It needed to have been a bit browner, but I think that's successful. So what we're going to do is take them out, let them cool down a bit, and they're very, very hot. Turn the barbie off, let that cool down, and we're going to drizzle a little drop more of this over the top.
Why?
Because that's what they tell me to do.
Oh, okay. Won't make it too oily, will it?
Nope.
Okay.
So we're going to leave that, we're going to let that cool down,
Very
and we're
Mediterranean.
going to come back in a few minutes once it's cool, and we can touch it, and then we can actually cut it up and see what it looks like. Back in a few minutes. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to pop that on there. That is now off and cooling, so I just want to really tip this out here. Still a bit warm, but it's not hot, hot, hot. Take that out of there.
It's not hot, hot, hot.
Well, it's warm, but not hot, hot, hot. And then hopefully we can cut this up, and it's either been a success or it hasn't. So let's have a look in here.
It does look nice,
It
actually.
is very nice. See, that's nice
And bready.
and ready. So we'll just take that, chop that into lumps. Gorgeous focaccia. And just pop that into a little bit of a serving bowl. It's hot.
Don't need to put it all in because you want to put some of the other bits in as well, don't you?
Yeah, I could put it all in.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm going to leave some of it on its own, am I?
I don't know.
And we can pick and chomp on that to our heart's content.
No wonder I'm starting to look the
That's
size of an
lovely.
elephant.
Beautiful. No, you're not, darling.
I know, believe me.
Move that again.
Oh. Perhaps I'll get some later.
Perhaps you will. Bring the olive one over. You can
Olive?
only eat the olive one because I don't like the olive one.
You don't like tomatoes either.
Sorry?
You don't like tomatoes
I
either.
can stomach a tomato.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Just cut that.
Why is focaccia different to normal bread?
I just think it's because it's
More olive oil and stuff.
yeah, it's quite a moist bread, isn't it? With the olive oil, and you have those Mediterranean tastes. And bring the other over.
Oh, it's a bit warm.
That'll be too hot to eat at the moment.
Oh,
Nice.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Very hot.
The whole idea there is really, when people turn up at your barbecue or your party with your family, you can dish up some focaccia. That is very hot. You can turn around and pop that on a table, and trust me, I don't think that will hang around for very long at all. Do you?
No, it's lovely.
Lovely. So there you go. Just another little tiny tip and hint for you to do on a barbecue. Just making those family and party events a lot more interesting. So I hope that's given you some ideas. Please, 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 please give me a thumbs up if you think that is of interest. And don't forget, hit that red button there, because the more you hit those buttons, the more you subscribe, and the more of these little things we can bring you and show you. Look, thanks very much for watching. I hope it's given you another idea. If it has, leave us some feedback. Tell us what you think. Tell us about variations on that recipe. Those olives and the tomatoes, they were what I added. So don't forget, it's a BBC recipe. It's Paul Hollingworth. I think that's how you pronounce his surname.
I have no idea.
That's his recipe. And that's it. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.